hands. Nope. Now. Okay. Hello and welcome to Show of Hands number. We think we had several that were numbered 68, but you know, Firefly's a scientist, so numbers get kind of hinky for us. Anyway, welcome. And tonight we have Firefly and myself, as well as a new face. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us, when was the last time you peed outside?
All right. Username or
Whatever you'd like for us to call you.
I'm Gwen. Username certified on Show of Hands. And last time I peed outside was like 30 minutes ago.
Nice. Well done. That's just good timing right there.
I was out cleaning. I was out moving plants, and I said, I had to piss, so I just did.
Well, it is a man's right, so that's pretty awesome. I'm glad that we picked that question then. And before we went live, you said that today is your 1-year anniversary on the Show of Hands.
Looks like it. It is today.
So pretty cool. I am Ronderman on the app, and the last time I peed outside, I went to for our 20th anniversary, we went to a resort in Mexico, and it had just a huge pool, and pretty much swim up bars and everything, and we stayed in the pool pretty much all day, and I never saw any person get out of the pool to go pee. So yeah, I peed in the pool at the resort, as did pretty much everyone else that was there. So the last time I peed outside was a couple weeks ago.
I am Firefly 5 on the app. I'm Guyton in real life, and the last time, it might have been over the weekend, we were moving, and sometimes when moving, one person has a set of keys and the other person doesn't. So I'm not sure if that was this last weekend, or yeah, definitely this last weekend. So
I gotta admit, when I came up with that question, I didn't think that all three of us would have said, within the last month. But I'm pretty darn happy about that. That's pretty cool.
See, if we're here, we might get a different answer.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we were supposed to have TopsQueen on, but she just let us know that she was not going to be able to make it on. But we do have a last-minute addition, and we'll let him introduce himself should he pop in. So there you go. Guyton, you got the first question?
I am looking. Let's see. We should ask someone who just joined. Oh, all the information pops up on the screen. We should ask you the warm-up question and to introduce yourself.
You're currently on mute, by the way, in case you're talking and we can't hear you. And we can't see you because you've already told us that your video would not be working. There you go. You there, Paul? I love awkward silence. It's just very exciting. Yep, still not hearing you.
All right. So by pressing
it was there.
Mute and unmute repeatedly, you can make your little microphone icon blink. Can you Morse code us the last time that
Yeah, we'll just ask you yes or no questions. Blink twice if it's no, blink once if it's yes.
Okay.
All right, well, you keep working on that, Paul, and we'll go ahead to the first question then.
Yes, so Mean Brett asks, how you came up with your username.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead, Gwen.
my username, I had just gotten certified in Adobe Photoshop, so I just put up I used to put certified for everything, and you usually can't get it on most apps, but this is a pretty niche app, so I put it in and I accepted it.
Very cool. I don't think I knew that you could get certified for Adobe Photoshop. That's the very far to the opposite side of the things that I usually deal with.
Oh, we
Hey,
got.
Paul, there you are.
Am I live?
Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you, but there's a pretty wicked delay between your mouth moving and the noise coming through. But you know what? Worse things have happened.
Well, I couldn't get it to work on my computer, so I'm using my phone.
Okay, well, it looks like you're like an old 1980s Chinese action film, with subtitles. So that'll just be fun. So tell you what, do
All
me a
right.
favor, look into the camera and give me your best mean face and say, if you want to fight, fight me.
I don't have one of those.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now you're synced back up now. So we lost the moment. The moment would have been very exciting. It could have been a ringtone or something like that. So, Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself. And our question tonight is, when was the last time you peed outside?
Oh, man. I'm Pedwin George. Let's see. I don't remember. Last week someday, I think.
Okay. Well, that meets expectations. We were all within the last month. So.
Well, when I worked for the guy that I used to work for, the bathroom is outside, so.
Now, I'm assuming that now you're Mennonite, as we've discussed many times and before.
Yep.
I'm about to show my ignorance. You guys all have indoor plumbing? Because
Oh, yeah.
all do
Oh, yeah.
electricity, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to.
I got a smartphone, so why would you think?
I guess that is pretty obvious there. So, yeah, kind of stepped in that one, didn't I? All right. All right, Paul, this is Gwen, by the way. You missed his introduction. He is certified on that.
I see.
So our first question is, how did you come up with your username?
Well, the P is for my first name, Paul. Edwin is my last name. Is my middle name. And George is my last name.
So Paul, Edwin, George. Cool.
Yep.
Hello. Does he want to introduce himself?
No.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy, bud?
Hello.
That is very nice. Okay.
I will.
How did I come up with my username? We have a really good family friend who had, at the time, a daughter that was 4 years old. And my first name is Ron, last name is Helderman. And she couldn't remember all of that, so she called me Mr. Ronderman. And so I kind of adopted that, and she'd say, "Are we going over to the Ronderman's house tonight?" And so, I kind of latched onto it because I like it. So I've been Ronderman ever since. And Guyton, how about you?
I am. There was once a show called Firefly. I also really like seeing the fireflies out in the yard. My boy and I will go out and catch them. So Firefly. And I like double meaning things.
It was a great show. Not just any show. It was a great show, by the
It
way.
was a show.
And if anybody wants to see it, it is on Netflix and well worth your watch.
And then the 5, I've said before it was a number I picked. There are also 5 people in my family. My wife and I are 3 kids, and 5. So that's where I am. I'll be back in just a second. I've got to take care of something.
Alrighty, we'll be here. And I have a confession to make. Mean Brett, in case you're watching, you're fairly new. According to this, you have been a part of our community for a little bit over a month. But I always read you until tonight as Mean Beret. So I thought you were like a Marine. So just my little dyslexic issue going on there. Anyway, it's good to see you're participating. Paul, it appears that you have froze. Oh, nope, you're still there. Okay. Hammer and Sickle asks, I'd like to know which college/university everyone attended. That would be interesting. So, Paul, go ahead. Did you go to college?
No, but I went to Bible school.
Close enough.
Yeah, talk to us about Bible school. Is that is that a post high school, or is that?
Yeah, it's a pre-college, post high school thing.
And is it something that that Mennonites do often? I mean, is that like just understood that you?
Yeah,
go to
quite a
Bible
few.
school?
Yeah, quite a few.
Is it a seminary type of deal, or what exactly? You learn theology, or?
It's pretty much just a help you get ready for college if you want to go to college, like to help you get grounded in the Bible and stuff like that, so that you don't lose it when you're in college.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. How about you, Gwen? Before we came on the air, you said you just got your bachelor's.
Associates. I wish I had my bachelor's at 20. I got my associate from Hillsborough Community College here in Florida, which is like a public pre sort of like associates college. They don't go any further than associates. And I got it in associates in basic science.
Cool. And I went to the North Carolina State University.
Hey, I used to live in North Carolina.
Yeah, where in North Carolina?
Greenville.
Greenville, yes. When were you in Greenville?
For a better part of the year, about a year ago.
About a year. Yeah, my wife went to medical school at East Carolina, so spent 4 years there myself. But my degree is in business management with a concentration in marketing and a minor in religion. So, but that was like a whole different lifetime ago before some of you were even born. So, because I'm the old man here. Guyton, where did you go to college?
You're only 40 though.
Oh, if I were only 40, I still got a few years on top of that. I'm in my 40s. How about that? Yeah, I'm old enough to remember black and white TV when that's all we had. We'll let you spew on that. So, okay, Guyton, where did you go to university or college?
I went to college at a school called Grand Valley, and it's in Grand Rapids. Up in Michigan, in West Michigan. And then,
Guyton, we're having a hard time hearing you. Or
oh,
is that me?
let's see. I might have moved the computer too far away.
There you go. That's a whole lot better.
All right. I
So,
went to college. Can you hear me okay?
yeah, that's much better.
All right. I did undergrad at Grand Valley, which is a school in Grand Rapids in West Michigan. And then grad school I did also in Michigan, um, at Western Michigan, which is close by. It was where I ended up. I didn't like my undergrad school, but it worked out really well. It wasn't where I necessarily wanted to be, and I tried to transfer out. I actually I got to the point where I had a down payment on an apartment, and it just all fell through at the last second. Um, but then shortly after that, I met my wife there, and so a lot of good came out of it, even even if it wasn't where I was planning to stay, where I was whatever. Um, it worked out really well.
Speaking of, are we going to get to see Julie tonight?
Maybe. Um, we moved over this last weekend, and we have some stuff that we're trying to clean at the old place, and we have some stuff that we're trying to move still. Just a couple of books and odds and ends and whatever. So she is done running at the gym, and she said she was on her way back, but she was going to stop by the old place to take care of some stuff. It depends on how much stuff, I guess.
We'll just have to stay on, until she gets here at 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. All right, I'm an ag. Says, woohoo, TopsQueen, who, again, was supposed to be on, but didn't make it. Already asked us about tonight's dinner, so what would everyone's ideal breakfast be? And she said that hers would be an omelet with grilled onions, fresh spinach, ham, and Swiss cheese, topped off with hollandaise sauce, and some fresh fruit on the side would be perfect. So that's a pretty big breakfast.
I would say a perfect breakfast would have to include both crepes and hash browns. And beyond that, I don't. You could do all sorts of things beyond that, and that would be just fine. Um, there's a breakfast place we like to go to, and because going out for breakfast, that's that meal that's it's easier to afford going out for breakfast. I mean, it really is. You know what I mean? Like you go out for
Yeah, it is.
$25 a person. You go out for breakfast. And
Yeah.
you can get the whole family fed for $25. So, um, yeah, that place I do a skillet. It's like a corned beef hash skillet, and that's really good too. But I think the perfect breakfast involves crepes, hash browns, and coffee.
Excellent. Gwen, how about you?
Perfect breakfast. Currently, just egg white on toast, lightly salted with a teaspoon of pepper. Favorite breakfast in the world.
That's pretty exact. What happens if you get too much pepper?
I dislike my breakfast, but I still eat it.
You'll push through if there's too much pepper. Good to know.
It'll be painful, but I will try.
How about you, Paul?
Well, I'd say right now it's either an egg that is over easy with hash browns, bacon, and a pancake, or what do you call those things? Have a soft-boiled egg, ham, English muffin. What's it called?
A McMuffin?
No. It has hollandaise sauce on it.
Okay, so you and I'm an egg both mentioned hollandaise sauce. Can someone please educate the uneducated here? What in the world is hollandaise sauce?
It
That's
is
something I'm going to have to try next week.
it is egg yolk mixed with some other spices and I believe some mayonnaise. But I'm not quite sure on that.
Now, is it something you have to make yourself, or can you buy it somewhere? Like, say Vegemite.
Vegemite.
I have no idea.
So how do you get the hollandaise sauce?
Only way I've seen it done is being made.
I don't think it's it's not actually oh it's wow that's I'm looking how it's made right now. It's really weird. It looks good though. Looks very good.
It is really good.
Easy to make. It's pretty easy to make, but you can get it. You can get it. I think you can get it packaged, probably. Your better bet is just to go to a breakfast place because
Yeah.
something on their menu has hollandaise.
Now Ron said Vegemite. So odd. I live in a very small town in Florida, like middle of Hickville, nowhere, and the fresh market, the farmers market down the road makes fresh Vegemite every Sunday.
That's fantastic.
Hey, Gwen, what you don't know is that we happen to have a Vegemite connoisseur here on the panel. Guyton, back several months ago, as I was starting on this hangout journey, mentioned Vegemite, and I took it upon myself as a mission to go find some and tried some on the air. And
It's it's something.
it is something. But it's, yeah, I only tried it that one time. It's really all that I needed. It was too much fun for me to have more than once in my lifetime.
Too fun. That's a good way to describe it.
Right.
When I was in Amsterdam, I saw a store that had a stack of Vegemite and there's another kind that's almost like Vegemite, but I forget what the name of it is.
Marmalade?
Yeah, Marmite.
Marmite.
There was a store with it sitting in the window in the store in Amsterdam. And I took a picture of it just for you, Ron.
I'm honored that people all over the world, when they come across Vegemite, they think of me instead of that just makes me happy, gives me a warm fuzz. Okay.
You know, you were talking about trying out for commercials and stuff. How great would it be if you were the face of Vegemite?
The face of Vegemite in America.
You know what? That would just be my luck. That of all the products of the known world, that Vegemite would be the one that would
See, you would replace the current face of Vegemite in America, which is just someone throwing up into a toilet.
pretty much. That's just pure gold. Pure gold. I'm gonna have to get an agent, and I'm sure that with that idea, that any agent would really jump on that. So.
You'd have to think that at least in America, you wouldn't have too much competition.
That's true.
It's true.
That's very true.
You'd have a monopoly and you'd be quickly shut down.
That's right.
I mean, you might have to share the spotlight with the older of my daughters, who loves it.
Well, and she is much cuter than I am, so I'm thinking that she may be some stiff competition.
The new child star, the face of Vegemite.
No, I am starting to become convinced that my family and Susan are the only people on this side of the Atlantic that like Vegemite.
No. My friend loves it.
It's really good if you do it right.
So not at all?
I'm pretty sure that
Almost.
I followed your instructions when I ate it, and I'm gonna have to say no. It was not pretty.
the best way to enjoy Vegemite is to not eat it at all. It comes from Prison Island. What do you expect it to taste like?
I mean, that's how I feel about Hello. So, who am I to tell?
Well, I've never tried it, so I don't know if I like it or not.
I
So
wouldn't. Just don't.
Well, let's put it this way, George. You're in Iowa, is that right?
Illinois.
Illinois. I knew it was an I state. I was close. All right. So if I were to open up a jar in North Carolina, I'm pretty sure you could smell it in Illinois. So that's how long this stuff is.
So it comes.
Well, you know, I'm going to be in Winston-Salem this weekend, so I might be able to see you.
Why are you going to be in Winston-Salem?
That's where my grandparents live, and I'm going to see them and go to a reunion.
Get out of here. Okay, well, tell you what, we'll work that out because it'd be fun to shake your hand and to hand you a jar of Vegemite. So I may end up having to go buy one if we can work it out.
I'm going to prepare you, Paul. Paul, I'm going to prepare you. Have you ever licked a salt lick?
Okay. I'm not sure.
Imagine
I
that.
don't remember.
So.
Okay. Yeah, it's
taste salt.
I do like salt.
I will say this: if you're gonna have Vegemite, you take a piece of bread and toast it. You put butter on it, and then a Vegemite jar is about this big. That's a full size one. A regular peanut butter jar is somewhere more like whatever here, right? A Vegemite jar will last you as long as that peanut butter jar, assuming you like both. So
well, I do like peanut butter.
Right? You scrape it over the butter, but you put on, you should. It's not Nutella. You don't just sit there and lather it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a thin layer that you can see the toast through the Vegemite, and it comes out tasting like. Essentially, it ends up tasting like, kind of like just salted toast, but you really have to put a thin layer on. I mean, if you can't see your knife through the Vegemite when you go to when you get ready to spread it, then you probably have too much.
Yeah, it's some pretty powerful stuff. It's kind of like a little bit of kryptonite will kill Superman. A little bit of Vegemite.
I'm guessing that my relatives would all like it since they all come from the South, but I don't know.
Well, I never answered the question. My ideal breakfast is not so much what I eat; it's more where I eat it. And I've had several breakfasts at Disney World, and they were all absolutely delicious. One was with Chef Mickey, which is the buffet type of place. The other was in Cinderella's Castle, which had a stuffed French toast, which was so incredibly good.
Ooh.
And Guyton, I will tell you that in Mexico, they had a crepe bar. And so they made the crepes right there in front of you, including the actual pastry, I guess you would call it, the actual wrap. She would make that right in front of you, and there were about 30 ingredients that you could choose to get on, and that was pretty dang good too. So I would advise a crepe bar if you ever get that.
Eggs Benedict. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Where?
It's the eggs on a bagel with, or it's on an English muffin with hollandaise and.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Hey,
Eggs
Julie.
Benedict.
Hey.
Yeah, thanks for one question. Any books or ideas about it? Or one for last time we had something about a different question, but the ideal breakfast one would be better.
Breakfast?
Well, I was thinking we'd make her answer the same question that we did when we introduced ourselves.
What are you giggling about, Henry? I don't like that. I don't like your giggling.
You don't like that? Okay.
When was the last time I peed outside?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while. It's not as easy for us ladies, okay?
That's true, but just to let you know, the four of us were all within the last month. So,
Oh,
and as a
that
matter of
definitely
fact,
I was in the last hour.
yeah, Gwen
Oh,
was like 30 minutes ago. So,
I got nothing. I can't.
yeah, nothing.
Well, yeah. That was a long time ago.
Well, we'll forgive you.
Yeah. No, Mama doesn't pee outside. I don't.
Well, maybe you should. It's quite a freeing experience.
I tried that one time, and it's really hard. I mean, you gotta have really good, like, thigh muscles, you know? Because you gotta be able to aim without peeing in your shoes, and then you can't be like, I can hold it midstream, and then, you know, you end up sitting in it, and it's terrible. So I just avoid that. I mean, we have a potty in the car, and I would honestly probably try to use that before I went outside.
So do you travel with a porta potty, like a training potty?
Yeah, we have this. It's a little baby Bjorn, so you know, it's one that they can sit on.
Uh-huh.
Yep,
It's in a bin in the back of the car.
in a plastic bag.
In a bag in a bin in the back of the car where it occasionally makes its way out and you're in the middle of some stretch of road and you hear a little voice from the back. I need to use the bathroom. Like, oh, come on.
And it's always after you know you've passed a bunch of exits, and then there's not anything for miles.
Oh, of course.
Naturally, so. Yeah. I
Ideal breakfast.
Ideal breakfast. See, that's tricky because I don't like waking up. So my ideal breakfast would actually be like lunch.
So, what meal would make it worth it?
Well, breakfast
What
at night.
meal? Yeah, Brenner.
Yeah.
That's Brenner.
I love
Brenner.
a good cereal at 12 in the morning.
What
Yeah, that's
cereal?
perfect.
No.
I would never make my perfect breakfast in the middle of the night. I don't want to crack eggs, so I would probably just.
They're easy.
Yeah, but like I usually don't have them, so I always forget to get them. So I'd have to go to Walmart and buy Walmart eggs. I don't like Walmart eggs.
Don't blame me. See, there are like three things we always get when we go to the store, no matter what. It's always butter and eggs. I think that we don't even get
What's
nothing.
third?
We don't.
Yeah,
But not really.
Now, how are Walmart eggs different from Harris Teeter eggs or Food
I don't
Lion?
know what either of those are. All I know is Publix. I know Food Lion. I know Food Lion, and I know Publix, which is a Florida brand store. The difference is the only Walmart that's open 24 hours is 6 miles away, and the Publix is half a mile away.
It's a distance thing, not necessarily an egg thing.
It's not
It's not
necessarily.
like Walmart has substandard eggs.
I don't know. It is Walmart.
No, I am a Walmart.
You can
shopper.
tell that they're not as good.
I don't think you can. Man. I guess it has to be the distance thing. I don't really see a difference in the quality of eggs.
Yeah, we go through a lot of eggs in our house. So if Walmart is substandard, I need to know. So I could
Probably the cheapest eggs.
yes.
But I buy egg whites because I don't like wasting yolks.
Ah. Okay. Well, next question. I actually stole from another poll, and I believe the person that wrote that one was Mean Beret, otherwise known as Mean Brett. But I thought it was Mean Beret at the time, as we previously discussed. But he asked, would you rather amputate your big toe or make out with Larry King for 15 minutes?
15 minutes?
That's a long time
That
to
is
make
a
out
long
with
time. No.
Larry King.
Like Larry King when he was younger, or at the current 80, like 80 years old?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It does.
I'm pretty sure he was born looking like a 75-year-old frog. I mean, I
Well,
don't need my big toes.
Yeah,
He
you
looks
do.
like a he looks like a hipster. He's smoking like a menthol cigarette. In this picture, right? It's like he really looks like a hipster back in like the 30s, not 30s, 40s and 50s.
Did they have cameras back in the 1880s?
well, and before you answer the question, remember the man has been married like 5 times, so he's got to have something going for him.
True.
Found
Right.
it. Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah.
true. I think I would worry that Larry King-ism would be contagious.
So, and once you cut that big toe off, there's no going back. So I don't know. Can you?
Going back after you.
Yeah. Can you deal with Larry King for 15 minutes? I don't know. Anybody gonna?
I wouldn't want to cut off my big toe. So I think I'd have to deal with Larry King for 15 minutes. As bad as that could be.
How much of my big toe?
Can we just go up to the knuckle, or does it have to? That piggy go all the way home?
I mean, I'd like it for balance, but beyond that, you could get rid of the rest of it. I've got pretty big toes. Like my big toes are bigger than whatever. And if it could get mostly cut down, if I could lose half of both, I would do that. Can I lose half of each big toe?
I don't think I'd be able to do it. I do a lot of hunting, and I wouldn't be able to run around as much as I could. I'd have to deal with... Man, this is really difficult.
I honestly don't. I would probably pucker up and make out with Larry King. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
that's what I would have to do. I'm not going to lose this thing. It's that's worth money.
I would really hope that I would not get some type of PTSD after
PTSD.
after making out with Larry King for 15 minutes.
You
But
could probably
Why-
continue.
Why does it have to be 15 minutes?
Well, that's
Yeah, that's a long
it's just
time.
a question. That is would 5 minutes be any better?
Yeah, 5 minutes is
Yeah.
a third of the time, yo.
Well, Larry King. Okay, you could get rich off of it. I think somehow. Like, it's just like you would probably get rich off of it.
What, like hold up advertisements?
Yeah. Watch me make out. Watch me make out with Larry King for 15 minutes. Donations here. Go fund my therapy.
Wow. Really didn't expect that question to have the legs that it did, but there you go. Let's see. My Red Skirts. What was the last book you read that you simply could not put down until you finished?
So if audiobooks count, and I don't know if audiobooks count, and I would like to count them because in one way or another you're experiencing the book. I just finished recently a book called Everything I Never Told You by Celeste King, and it was fantastic. I blazed through that. I listened to it while running, but then I would listen to it in the car on the way back from running, on the way to it, and every spare minute I had for it. That was the last audiobook that I could have put down. The last written book would have been, was it House of Leaves that I reread fairly recently? Yeah, probably House of Leaves. It was
You,
not.
you read all those smart people books.
I read pretty much all fiction. So, like a lot of people on the app, especially, if you ask them for book recommendations, will come up with these really great um, memoirs and non-fictional accounts of whatever, and here's this is a great discussion of this or that psychological concept and what have you, and I'm like, no, I want fiction. I read so much nonfiction for work, and I am just, if I'm going to read something for myself, I'd rather read fiction.
How about you, Paul? What was the last book that you read that you couldn't put down?
Well, like Fire said, if audiobooks count.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last one I read? Or listened to, rather? I don't even remember. It's been so long. I think it was Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, but I'm not sure.
Wow,
That one was
that's
pretty good, I thought.
That's a book.
Sorry, Fire, you don't like it.
I don't. I don't.
I can't say that I like it either.
It was completely an experience.
It is.
And I
Also, 1984. George Orwell's 1984.
That's no. You're reading a lot of the big ones.
And I'm working on Count of Monte Cristo right now.
Oh, that was great. I remember reading that. That was maybe the first literature book that I read, maybe ever. And I was a kid the first time I read that one, and it was wonderful in every way. And if you haven't read any Dumas before that, I would say I would be very impressed if you could read Monte Cristo and not go and read at very least Three Musketeers right as soon as you're done.
Okay. I haven't read very many of the classics, so.
Me either. They made fun of for it.
I read a lot, and I worked at a bookstore
Yeah.
in high school and the beginning of college. So, and it was a bad bookstore. It was a bookstore that didn't succeed well.
Ron,
What,
I know
yeah.
you're passionate about this.
What exactly you got on there, Julie?
So I went to Target because I was trying to stall out from working out, and I was like, I'm gonna look at this dress, and then I always just buy it, and then I think about it when I come home. So then I try it on, and so I even thought about it. Do I look like a hippie?
Do you look like a hippie? Honestly, and what I'm gonna say, I thought you were showing up in your nightgown.
Oh,
Yeah, from here, from the way it looks on the camera, it looks like you're in a nightgown.
I wear a t-shirt and pajama shorts to bed. I'm not fancy. Nobody's fancy. This looks like a nightgown. I can't.
Well, on camera it does.
I was gonna say it looked like. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
On the camera, it looks very pale. You can't see the color.
Yeah, I can't tell what material it is, so it looks like it could be a nightgown.
Looking at you right now, I can tell it's not that. On the camera, there's no color to it.
Now I feel dirty.
Well, it looked like a nice nightgown. Does that help?
I don't think it helps, Ron.
I think we've upset her. I'm sorry, Julie. I'm trying to keep
Well, I
it real.
apologize to you because now I feel like a creeper. Hey, gentlemen, how's it going tonight?
Here, I'm going to turn the camera to you. And
No, it really looks okay. So I have my running pants on and my running shoes. Great.
See, now that looks that doesn't look as much like a nightgown now.
Yeah, it looks a lot better, like not nightgowny.
Yeah.
When you only see part of it and there's no color, different thing.
Hey, I guarantee, Julie, that you look much better in it than I would.
I don't know, Ron. I thought you were some color.
It really, I could not pull that look off. I guarantee it. And I've worn lots of dresses. Okay, so just saying. So anyway, okay, where were we? Were we
Books.
Did we start on the Jenna questions?
It was the last book we read, and we only got to Paul.
Oh, how about you, Gwen? What was the last book you read that you couldn't put down?
The last book that I read that I think I finished it in one sitting was a book called I Omnist, which was a book about omnism, which is in the belief of all religions.
Uh-huh.
And I read the entire thing. I think it's about 400 pages in about 6 hours. I just sat in my Kindle in my room and I just read the entire thing. That was about a month ago.
Wow.
But I read a lot of religious books, and because I want to study religion. I want to get maybe a bachelor's in something with a minor in religion, or a master's.
How old are you?
20.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not shy about asking that question.
Do I look like a child?
No, but you were just talking about like a major and stuff. I mean, I honestly assumed you were a lot older than that. You look mature. Is that a better way to put it?
I'll take that.
Good. After I showed up on my nightgown, so
Yeah, you have credit that you can say anything you want to us tonight, being as we all just accused you of being a floozy walking around in your nightgown.
I know, right? I'm saying.
Susan R. wants us to put Ron in your dress.
My dress?
Which I guess means you're going to have to go pick one up.
Oh, she wants me to wear a dress?
Yeah.
Hey, I showed up on Show of Hands last week wearing Daisy Duke shorts, okay? So I should get some credit.
Hey, to give you credit, I voted on you.
I appreciate that.
I did too.
I guess the last book I couldn't put down was probably I don't know. I've been reading Game of Thrones for seems like 3 or 4 years because it's just taking forever to get through it. But I can easily put that one down. Probably the last one that I couldn't put down was probably Unbroken.
Ooh.
Some of the I went through a World War II phase where I read a lot of historical fiction. So that was it was probably one of those books that I did. But Guyton, you asked if we'd hit any of Jenna's questions. We have not. Okay. So we can close with a few of those. Have any of us ever attended a LGBTQ Pride Parade?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I go to Gaybor, which is Ybor. It's a district of Tampa every year, and for the last 4 years, ever since I dropped out of high school.
Cool. Paul, I'm guessing that you've never been to a gay pride parade. Okay.
Nope.
Closest I've ever been to is I went to a gay bar in D.C. last year. One of the most fun nights of my life. It was a blast. And I suggest everyone go to a gay bar at least once.
Did you wear the Daisy Dukes?
No. I did not have on the Daisy Dukes at the gay bar. That's the attention I would have gotten had I been wearing the Daisy Dukes. There was a drag show that night, which was a lot of fun. So that I did not participate in, for the record.
All right.
I did watch, and it was eye-opening. Guyton, how about you?
I don't think so. Well, I lived in Ann Arbor. I don't think there were. I don't think I went to a parade per se, um, but different events and such. But no, I've spent most of my adult life having young kids, being in grad school, and working multiple jobs. I haven't. I went to a parade for the first time this year in it was a Memorial Day parade, and it was only because my kids were in it for their taekwondo group and they were breaking boards and stuff. It's pretty cool. But I haven't been. That was the first parade I had been to since I was probably 10. So
Yeah, I've not been to a parade in probably 30 years ish. Again, longer than most of you have been alive. Just to remind you of that. Um,
I
yeah,
I'm 30.
I'm just not a big parade kind of guy. So, um,
Yeah,
let's see.
I know lots of people really like parades, but I don't know. To me, parades are, no. Lots of people like parades. Lots of people like Twinkies too, and I don't get that either. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Um, she says Cavs or Warriors. Does anybody have an update on the score?
Ooh, ooh.
Last I saw, it was not pretty. The Warriors were just having it handed to them.
The current score. I know it wasn't close last time. I looked. The current score is 80-63 with a buck 46 left in the third. Cavs are.
Actually, it's actually a whole lot better than I was expecting it to be.
It's 80-66. But they're playing in Cleveland tonight, and Cleveland got tired of losing, and while Golden State was probably the best team in the league this year, I mean they were the best team in the league this year. I think it's crazy to think of Cleveland as underdogs ever, and
Mm-hmm.
I I think they just decided to stop losing. Um, and Kyrie Irving is amazing. I don't know what happened to make him kind of hit his stride, but he's got 22 right now, and it's just he found himself sometime or other in Game 5. He found himself, and he's so good. I
Yeah, they have the workings of the best comeback in finals history, I think. So, um, now if they go to Game 7, would that be where would that be?
Golden State. That'd be in California,
Go back to California.
and that would be pretty intense. But it's I think it would be hard. Oh, Golden State's been on a run. It's a 9-point game now. But I think it would be hard to come back even at home after some other team has knocked you down in 2 games consecutively. And
Yeah, they definitely have the momentum going in. So,
it,
let's see. What is your fondest childhood memory? Another one from Jenna. Does anybody have a good childhood memory?
why don't you go first on that one, Ron?
Hmm.
Because I'm writing Jenna back. My a good childhood memory. My fondest childhood memory. I got lots of childhood memories that were a lot of fun, but I guess one of my favorite memories is when my dad used to basically wrestle and tickle us. Dad always wore glasses, and we would always ask him if he'd play with us or tickle us, and we knew that he was really into it when the glasses came off. If the glasses came off, then you knew you were in for a good tickle. And there were three of us, and we would basically just pounce on him at that point. And so that's, if I had to say that was my fondest childhood memory, that would probably be it. When he is dead and gone, I will still look back fondly and think about him taking those glasses off and how he always looked goofy without glasses. And all of us, just the anxiety of him taking his glasses off just raised the level of the temperature of the room right there. So that was my, I guess that'd be my fondest childhood memory.
We moved one day into, so I was living in Belgium. I was really young at the time. This was, I think, before we moved to England.
Guyton, we can't hear you again. Can you get the computer
So
closer?
I was living in Belgium, and I think this was the first time I was living in Belgium before England. I was really young, and we had just moved into a new place, kind of new place, that was once upon a time a bank. And for whatever reason, and this was very out of character, but for whatever reason, I got inside first and got to pick out my room. And that was unheard of. And we moved a lot, so it's not like the opportunities weren't there. But I got to pick out my room, and so I'm exploring inside, and I find what was once the vault. And it's got this big, gigantic round door, as heavy as anything. I mean, the lock isn't on there anymore. I don't think it even latched, but I was like, this is my room. I don't care what else is going on. It was, I mean, it was big enough, you know, so it was bigger than that than it would be if I were an adult, you know what I mean? But there was just that excitement of check this out. So that's my best. Oh, it's kind of sad, but that's my best childhood memory. Was the day I
But
got
that's
to
really
my own room.
So was your bedroom, did you actually pull it off? Did you get to make that your bedroom?
Dude,
That's pretty cool.
no one else wanted it, and an adult-sized bed wouldn't have fit in there. Which means I kind of would have gotten it by default anyway, but that I got to pick it made it fantastic.
I can honestly say I don't know of anyone else who has ever had a bank vault as their bedroom before.
It was really cool.
That is pretty cool. So,
Just don't get yourself locked in there.
Yeah. No, they had taken most of the mechanisms out of everything.
Okay.
So it was just, I mean, it was a gigantic door that weighed a lot, but
Yeah.
and maybe it didn't even weigh that much. So when you're young, it weighs, you know,
Yeah.
way more than I was going to be moving very easily. But that made it more exciting for me.
how about you, Paul?
I would say one of my favorite memories would be either going to Honduras with my family in 2000 and 2005, or making pies with my grandmother.
Well, we obviously need to know what kind of pies.
Yeah, man, what pies?
Any and all kinds you would want.
And
She was known
I
as the pie lady.
I was about to say, I bet your grandma made some pretty awesome pies.
She did.
Never had a midnight.
She even had her own.
I bet they're good.
She even had her own 800 number.
Ooh.
For the pies?
1-800-PIE lady.
Pie lady. So what happens if you call 1-800-Pie lady now?
I don't know.
Let's find out. Want to find out?
I think somebody else probably has it.
Let's find out who has it.
Because she died in 2003.
Well, Escape. What's really gonna freak you out if she answers when he calls?
Wait. If she died in 2003, how were you making pies with her in 2005?
The Honduras
No,
trip.
no.
Okay, good.
2000 and 2005 was to Honduras.
That makes a lot more sense. Good.
Oh. It's an Alzheimer's service now for medicine.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Grandma, old timer service. She left a message for the pie lady. Hi, I'm calling for the pie lady.
They probably had that before.
They'll think I have Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I need to know if I can use Granny Smith or Red Delicious apples in my pie. Can you please give me that? Awesome. How about
My grandmother,
Uh-huh.
she would make probably 50 pies a week.
Get out.
That's a lot of pies.
And then there were some weeks that she'd make 150, 200.
Who's eating all these pies?
She'd sell them.
People who call.
She'd drive around her town with them in the trunk of her Buick Park Avenue, and she'd go to this Buick dealership and drive in, and they had this sign on their garage door for their service door that said honk and we'll open the door. So she'd honk. They all knew her horn. She'd honk. They'd open the door. She'd drive in, pop the trunk. They'd get their pie and pay her, and she'd drive out the back door. Never got out of the car.
She was a pie dealer. That sounds kind of,
nefarious.
She didn't put marijuana in these pies.
Were pies
Nope.
were pies illegal in Illinois at the time?
No, this was in Ohio.
Oh, well, if it's in Ohio, there's no telling,
There's no telling, man.
Well,
She made apple pie, cherry pie, chocolate cream, lemon cream, coconut cream, banana cream, peanut butter banana cream, chocolate banana cream.
And that special one.
About anything you could want.
And the special one, she had to honk for people to open the garage doors, right?
Exactly.
No. She didn't make any special ones.
Well, was she ever arrested for using child labor in her business?
Nope.
No. Okay.
All right.
Was she ever arrested for possession with intent to distribute?
Not that I know of.
Oh,
The 70s and 60s were a crazy time.
I'm telling you.
This was the late 90s, though.
Yeah, Grandma would be thrilled to know that, 13 years later, after she was dead and gone, that we're talking about her pies. So that's pretty fun. How about you, Gwen? Do you got a childhood memory?
My bar mitzvah is probably the most fond thing I got.
Okay, for those of us that are not Jewish, okay, that is
One place that there was just one place that she donated pies to, that she would put one on the auction, and it would go for $75, $150.
Wow.
And sometimes someone would buy it and then donate it back, and they'd sell it again.
But that doesn't make much financial sense to me.
What?
It was a fundraiser auction for a school, so.
If I'm paying $75 for a pie, I'm gonna eat that pie. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm eating it.
Especially if it's from the pie lady. I mean, she's got her own 1-800 number. So Gwen, let's get back to this bar mitzvah thing, because I don't quite understand it. So it's like a ceremony to tell everyone that you're now an adult?
That in the Jewish community, when you turn 13, you are an adult, and you are able to practice and read the Aliyah, or like the Torah, big old scroll. You're allowed to read that aloud, because every Shabbat they call people up from the congregation to read off the giant Torah, like take it out of the box, and well, no, you don't take it out of the box every time, but you sometimes read it's reformed, so it's not so orthodox or strict in the rules, and you would sing part of the Torah, and you would chant some of them. You'd light the candles, and then there would be gifts afterwards. I believe that was when I received an N64 as the big gift back in 2000. When was I? When was I 13? No, it was 2007. 2007. Yeah, that's when it happened.
Wow. I am so incredibly old.
Can I ask? Can I ask? And this is, I just don't know anything about this. Why 13? Is there in a lot
It's
of religions
been
there
that
are
way, I think.
numbers that have weight? Is 13 a number that has a specific symbolism to it, or is this a number that seems like it was more or less chosen once upon a time and you know
It's. I think
say that better?
I think if you ever asked my old rabbi why the number 13, I don't know. But if you ever asked my old rabbi why the number 13 was chosen, she would probably say it's been that way since times unrememberable.
Mm-hmm.
And she would say that to everything. Like, why do we use 1-800 numbers? If you asked her that, she would say it's always been that way. So I
Tradition.
don't. Tradition, there you go. I don't think you'd ever get a straight answer out of her. It'd always be, whatever.
Our former preacher, yes, he was, wasn't he? Our former preacher was a. I say was as though he no longer exists. He's just no longer a preacher. Um, he still very much exists. He is a big biblical scholar, and he studied he studied a lot of the history and did all his grad school in Israel and what have you. He's just this guy who knew seemingly everything there was to know about kind of the fork, kind of when Judaism and Christianity forked, and a lot of times he would have things about specific numbers, and so I was, I don't mean for my question to sound any kind of rude. I was just wondering if there was a background to that.
I bet if I message one of my friends, they could tell me, and I can get back to you on that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Now I have a side question. I noticed you said that your rabbi was female. Is that like common?
In Reform communities, I'd say it's pretty common. I don't know anything about Orthodox or modern. I have never been to a modern or an Orthodox synagogue, but I've met a fair number. I've met more female Reform rabbis than I've met male Reform rabbis.
Because I know in Protestant circles, like there are, I don't know of any Baptist head pastors. There's lots of associate pastors, but not one that would actually be up at the pulpit preaching. Episcopalian, there are many there. Obviously, not Catholic. So just I'm Baptist, so we don't have any. Not that I think that we shouldn't. I would have no problem with it, but many in my church would. So I just assumed at that point the Jewish community was the same way. Obviously, I was mistaken.
All right, so I got a message back. Surprise is even up. It symbolizes the 13 attributes of divine mercy. So it's a
Okay, you're
very.
going to have to tell us what those attributes are. Since you've been through your bar mitzvah, I expect you to know the
Uh,
13 attributes of divine
Man,
mercy.
assuming you're nailing one of these a year. That's
oh man, I have not finished synagogue in so long, and I haven't studied in so long. I know that uh, one of the aspects, and I think number 9 or 10, is that uh, Adonai forgives intentional sinners. Like you will always be forgiven of intentional sins if you repent, which is most of the Abrahamic faiths. I think number, oh man, I I have no idea. Except that I know one of them is if you repent, intentional sins are wiped away. Uh,
Divine, I'm looking at Wikipedia now, seeing if I can. Well, that's the divine mercy of Jesus. I'm assuming that that's not what you guys are talking about in the.
uh, let me see if I can find an article on it. 13 attributes of mercy. Oh, I found it.
Just hit us with one or two.
Oh, okay. Uh, Number 1 is representative of Adonai, the name that represents the attribute of the Lord. The Lord's compassion before one has sinned. Even before a person has sinned, he still needs heavenly compassion, for the Lord owes us nothing. All that we have is only due to his grace and compassion. And even though the Lord knows that the person will sin in the future, his compassion for him now remains the same, since the person has not yet sinned. And one that goes along with that is number 10, which is, there it goes, the Lord forgives intentional sinners if they repent, and he still has
There you go.
compassion.
Well, you know
And-
what? You get your honorable mention. You got one right. So you got more than I expected you to get. I was,
0?
you know, yeah. Well, I mean, it was 7 years ago. Like you said, you hadn't been in
Yeah.
synagogue in a long time. So, I mean, you know, if you were to ask me to name the 12 disciples, I would probably get like, you know, 4 or 5 of them, but to hit all 12 of them would be tough. Let's see. We've passed our hour limit. We got. Let's see if we can find a good last question. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you? Anybody got a good embarrassing story?
Shot myself with a gun once.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna need you to explain that a little bit. Exactly how did you do this?
Okay, well, I guess I didn't really shoot myself. Is ricocheting shooting yourself, or is it physics shooting you?
I think, in my experience, physics tries to shoot you pretty often, so you've got to count it when it does.
Alright, so I'm going to blame this on physics and not myself.
Okay.
I was
So-
at... continue? You're saying?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
I was young when this happened. Maybe about 12, right? It was before I know it was before my bar mitzvah, but I still have the scar on my foot. It's about 3 inches long from where it bounced off 3 walls of the gun range, and this was a really, as I said, Hicksville nowhere gun range, and the gun range did not have protectors below the below where you shoot your gun, and it bounced back and hit me on the right side of my right foot, and it got embedded in there, and they removed it. It didn't even shatter. It just stuck in there, and it nuzzled itself under the bone of my foot, of the right side of my foot, and I have a big old scar all the way along there.
That is awesome.
I'd say that's
cannot
pretty
believe
embarrassing.
that not only am I talking to someone who has been shot, but someone who has actually shot themselves. That's That's pretty stinking awesome. That's a great story. How about you, Penguin? Do you have an embarrassing moment?
Not that I know of. I mean, I could probably think of one, but I'm not coming up with one right now.
We've had this question on here before, and I talked about one time when I got caught with a Playboy in school, which, for the record, I did not even know was in my possession when I walked into the classroom. But since I've given that story, we'll talk about a different one. I sing a lot in church, so I'm on stage a lot, and my best friend is like the worship leader, and we had probably 700 or 800 people in the service, and we were singing a brand new song that I didn't know, and 24 hours before I didn't even know I was going to be singing that Sunday. So, but my friend was sick, so he was able to play the guitar, but he wasn't able to sing. So he asked me to lead the song. And so when we got there for rehearsal, he changed the arrangement. He wanted us, since it was a new song, he wanted us to sing the chorus before the verse, which was no big deal. So we get up there, we're in the service, 500-600 people there, and I start singing the chorus and get through the chorus, and then I hit the verse, and the monitor that had the words on it switched. And so I was there with a microphone, and I had no words. And the name of the song was "Let Me Sing." So it sounded kind of like "Let me sing." There was just some ungodly noise that came out of my mouth at that point, and I turned to look at my friend for some help, and let's see if he was behind me playing the guitar. So as I turned, he physically turned around and walked away. So I was there on stage with no words, and it went through an entire chorus. The band kept playing, and it was just awkward silence for probably a good 45 seconds. And I told my mom, and Mom said, "Oh, I'm sure probably nobody noticed." And I told her, I said, "Mom, I could have stood up there and dropped my pants, and it would not have been more obvious than when I just had no words." So that was pretty embarrassing. And how about you, Captain? You got any?
I think this question came up last time we were here. Did I have something that was an embarrassing story? I'm asking my nephew, and I feel like if I had one. Yeah, well, do I have an embarrassing story? Yeah. I'm sure I do too, but what? Well, I can't come up with anything at the moment, but my wife is working on it in the other room, so I'm working on it next to me. If between the two of them they can't come up with anything, then they're helping me do this.
I'm trying to remember what you said last time too. Was there some type of story about swimming in a lake or something? Does that sound familiar at all?
Oh yeah, yeah. No. Once upon a time, I was kayaking in a lake with my my uncle and his young kids, and my uncle thought it would be really funny to tip the kayak over and strand me out in the middle of that. And even though the water was only about on the surface, crying a good long. No, that was you. That was you. No, I don't know.
Okay.
That was his story actually.
That's what it was. It was his story. That's right.
Yeah, I was the uncle who tipped his kayak.
For those of you that don't know who we're talking about, his nephew Justice is sitting next to him. So, but we have long past our hour quote-unquote limit. So we'll let that be the last question. And a big thanks to Certified and Penguin George for being on with us this week. And we'll sign off and see you guys next time. So good night.
All right, night night.
Well,